J's amigos. My name's host Eric, and synchronicity is a cruel lover. A lot of synchronicities going on in my days and times. As synchrononious as Thelonious monks, Larsonius, and Felonious cousin, Baloney Puss. Yeah, interesting fact is Thelonious Monk's brother was actually named Baloney Puss. Older brother. It was the first failed attempt. They got it right the second time, and they tried a third time and ended up with Carl Maloney just, and that was kind of mediocre at best. So, why is synchronicity a cruel mistress or cruel lover? It's not really at all. I just seemed like the title. So, for any who may not already have a clear understanding of the term, synchronicity refers to basically like happenstance NI links. So one example of this is not exactly synchronicity, but it's along the lines of it is since the beginning of Mercury in retrograde, approximately, give or take a day or two on either side of it, I have broken 3 bag handles. My rolling bag, this briefcase handle, and another suitcase handle. Now, granted, you're going to break handles when you're traveling more than when you're not, but I broke this handle just getting out of the car, going like this for the bait tournament. I broke the rolling things handle at his bait tournament. I was traveling, but the traveling part was irrelevant. Very minor kind of examples, not really synchronicity. Synchronicity has to do with the fact that when things wait just long enough for you to be ready for them, or when things are timed just so in ways that just seem to defy verisimilitude. Like, obviously, a lot of random shit happens on any given person's life. But my question is, why does it seem to be that stuff happens in manageable proportions? Like, in theory, one could have too many storylines attack one all at once, and there's no particular reason why. For example, the Nekio Loins mess didn't land at the same exact time and date and whatever as the Anthony Lapalosa mess, except the Anthony mess waited until the Nekio Loin mess had concluded. Why did it wait? Well, I mean, obviously you say, well, it's just coincidence, or you have lots of possible explanations. That's an example of sort of synchronous things. The way that I learned about Mercury in retrograde, not even 1 year ago. And this is an example of what somebody might say is, well, see, Eric, that's why it doesn't matter. It's not real. It's because, the frame's there. And so now you're seeing everything through that frame. It's just for confirmation bias. I mean, not really. It's not really confirmation bias in the sense that I actually do kind of keep track of shit. I'm very much on top of noting instances inconsistent with the hypotheses. So I almost approached the question by looking for counterexamples or to show why there's no real link there or whatever. But it's pretty tough to dispute that for the duration of this Mercury in retrograde, Rachel and I have been dealing with old shit. I've been dealing with old shit in the old loin department, in the and dealing with Rachel's old shit that I had backburnered from before, didn't really ever address. Needed to be dealt with. Rachel has lots of shit she needs to deal with, mostly coming down to a simple reality, which is she was the scapegoat. This is the simplest way to put it. She was the scapegoat in a family with at least one narcissist. And she is now getting justice. Rachel, I think, is genuinely reborn. I really believe that. I really believe Rachel is genuinely reborn of this whole thing. And it's impossible. The storyline's impossible. The way everything plays out is just impossible, you know? But regardless of that, I do want to talk about this weed I have here. So, because I went down to Marlboro School for Girls, which is possibly the most challenging name of a school to say in all of America. Oh, yes. I'm familiar with that. You're talking about the Marlboro School for Girls. You got to really have your R's down to get that one right. I would like to attend the Marlboro School for Girls. What a mouthful, huh? It's a lot of wah, 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 wah. Sounds like a wah wah pedal in the back of my throat. Girl, you sound like you got a wah wah pedal in the back of your throat. Yeah, like that, girl. So I gotta tell you guys about this weed, though. It's ridiculous. This is, I'm not exaggerating when I say this. I'm pretty sure this is the best weed I have ever smoked in my life. The guy said to me, I got these 3 weeds there. I got this stuff. I didn't know which ones to get exactly. This was a little cheaper. This was cheaper. This has the same approximate percentage of THC in it. In fact, it's stronger. 36% THC in this one than this one, which was about 30%, but was the most expensive one. I'll get it. $60 an eighth. $60 an eighth, okay, which is hella expensive around here anyway. The guy said as I was walking out with it, he's like, have fun, bro. That's like literally the best weed in the world. I was like, okay, all right, cool. He wasn't shitting me. This weed is like literally the best weed in the world. It's called Up North Platinum. It is, doesn't even have a strain on it anywhere I can see. It's just it has this platinum sticker that it took off. I'm gonna smoke a bowl of it. This is the first bong rip I've smoked of it. I'm telling you, from smoking little pipe hits in the car, this is the best weed I've ever smoked. The only thing that even comes close, and that was also maybe the best weed I've ever smoked, it was very close, it would be the Charm. The Cheer weed that Rachel and I got in Oakland. We only got a gram of it, so I have a little bit less of a clear sense of it, maybe, but here we go. I'm gonna pull this bong. This is the first bong rip I pull this shit. It's gonna fucking lay me out. This is insane weed. That bong rip didn't even do it justice. Well, you know what you got to do, Mattias? Got to make your way to Los Angeles, and I'll show you the way to San Jose in your brain. The San Jose of your brain is where like this is so good, it's crazy. All right. This is gonna be like a massive rip. I'm gonna pull it slow, I'm gonna pull it solid, I'm gonna pull it through. I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be a good guy right now. When I'm done blowing it out, I'm gonna say to myself, that's a good girl. Here we go. You'd like this, Mattias, let me tell you. Actually, you probably would be like, take me to the hospital. So clean too. It's not coffee at all. I mean, I just coughed, but nothing coffee about this weed. It's obviously if you have to clear your lung occasionally, but oh my god, it's clean and it's just giving me goose pimples. It's so freaking stony. Wow. Where have you been all my life? Looks like Rachel's got another sister wife. It's Rachel, Capillo, here, the kitty, and this weed are my wives. Oh. Ooh, drug sweats. What's up with giving me the drug sweats? It's so strong. It made me like kind of stuttery earlier. Like, I smoked some of it and I rolled out of the car and I was talking to my debater. And I'm like, pretty cool. He's 3-1 right now. He won 3 rounds and lost 1 round today. And he's got 2 more rounds tomorrow. If he wins both those rounds tomorrow, he'll be 5-1 and he'll certainly break. It's in theory possible that me? No, I'm not lost out at all. I'm tired. I mean, I took what I would call a sustaining dose today. I didn't really feel thwacked at any point. I was just able to make it through the day. But what was kind of interesting is I don't know if you remember me mentioning this before, but my debater's parents went and got him all tested out for ADHD and got him prescribed. So today was the first day he ever took it. Oh my God. I had to drive him home because his parents had to work playing their musical instruments. When they were working when the tournament ended. So I just, I have no problem driving him home because it's on my way home and I like to talk to him about the rounds anyway and stuff. So, where was I going with this? I lost my train of thought. I have no idea. Dancing to classical music must be very slow. Like, I don't know how you dance to it exactly. Like, how do you dance to that song that goes bum 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 bum? Does he impersonate me? That's cool. Here, Desert INTJ, I'll briefly make you blue so you can post a link. I want you to dance to like some sort of funeral dirge. I love dancing to funeral dirges. In the video you're watching, what video am I watching? I'm not watching any video. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know at all. I don't know what you're talking about. I think that you're too tall. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not watching nothing. No video, no video, no video, no nothing. Nobody can explain to me. Oh, it started up in the background here? Maybe it wasn't here. Oh, it was in your computer. I see. So many thumbs down. I bet you that one got like no thumbs down. Like, well, 12. That's not too bad. Not bad. Not bad, Spike Monkeys. 12. Thumbs down. Give me all of your thumbs down. Give me all of your thumbs down. Give me all of them, all of them, all of them, all of them, all of them. Remove. Well, thanks, Winston's mom. My moon's in Gemini, not in Pisces. I would not like to have my moon in Pisces. I like to keep my Pisces generally free of all satellites, be they moons, be they rings, be they artificial satellites, or be they comets. Be they. Be they, be they. Sounds like the name of an African rapper. Hi, Winston's mom. I was just talking about you. I was looking over there at some things and I was seeing some stuff that you had put there. And I was talking about you. And then, lo and behold, what a surprise. What a treat. You're here. How was the debate tournament? Did I have a good time? I had a good time until about 5 o'clock. The last round started at 5 o'clock. I didn't have a ballot. And for, I think, like the first time in the day, my kid went second flight. Now, under normal circumstances, I would have just been like, all right, I'll see you tomorrow morning. I'm bailing. I would have been out of there at 4:45 as soon as I realized I didn't have a ballot for the last round. But his parents asked me to drive him home. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just wait, I wanted to watch him in his fourth round since I didn't have a ballot. But when I went in to go watch him, the judge in there was this guy that's had beef with me in the past. We had a big fight at this one tournament one time. But not a fist fight, just like a no big words at you, no big words at you. Like that kind of fight, And I won that argument. I won that little showdown. So Winston, Mom, will you stop going back to that bullshit? There is nothing I have to turn on, okay? I am not doing anything other than what everybody else does with their live streaming and everything else. There is one thing I've noticed that does happen is a problem, probably. And this may be the situation in this instance. Here's, I believe when this happens, then there's a delay. So I went to go live stream. I pushed go live. It opens up the thing where you're going to put in the title and stuff. I think as soon as you do that, it launches some process. But I realized there at that moment that I didn't have my camera plugged in. So I had to plug the camera in and go away from that page and then go back to it again. And I think at that point, it sort of resets the process, and that's what produces the delay. Right? This is just a hypothesis, but I think that because that happens periodically, but not all the time. More often than it should, I'll fail to get it right the first time, right? But yeah, you can have a voice chat with me, Angintier. People, I got some buddy, like them people email me saying they'll talk to me and stuff, which is nice, I guess. Like, I don't know what to do with the email. I guess I just talk to them. I don't know, for a little while. Like, when you get a 14-year-old emailing you and saying he wants to talk to you, but he doesn't have any money, and I'll talk to you for a bit. I haven't emailed back yet because I just saw it today. I was busy. I think there was somebody else in there, I believe, that wanted just regular typing, and fairly often, not as often maybe as some people might think, but often enough that it's a regular occurrence. Somebody will email me with a bunch of like cognitive functioning stuff, like, okay, so here's the deal. I think I got this. I think I like this, and blah 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 blah. I've got this thing, this thing, this thing. Like, yeah, I don't want to read this email about. There's a certain segment of the population that assumes because I talk about cognitive functions a fair amount or answer a lot of questions about it, that I want to hear about it or something, or that I want to like be like, oh, how fascinating about your thing. It's like you're one of those people who's at that stage of like, welcome to cognitive functions, and that's great, and I value your enthusiasm and everything, but yeah, I know I don't want to spend time like writing an email, answering your questions and stuff. I sometimes I'll make videos when people write me emails and ask me questions, and I don't mind receiving the emails at all. Some of them make me feel a little bit like at a loss for what to do more than others, though. Stephen Rain, did I say hello to you? I saw you there. I noted the hand. I wondered for a second if it was going to spank me, but then no, it just waved. I'm not sure if I said anything after the fact. Yeah, Angantir, sure. After the stream, sure. So, what am I feeling right now? I'm having feelings. I am having feelings. And I don't know what the feelings are exactly. I think the feelings are there's a feeling of, I guess, not being up to the challenge. Like, I find myself still trying to resolve a clear directionality. Yeah, I know, Angantir. I am not interested in squeezing money out of you, really. I'm just not. It's like super chats are great when people want to. If somebody wants to come in a super chat and as sort of a gesture of like, I guess, appreciation or something, or because they want me to know that they find me valuable and they give me some money or something. That's great. It's really it's it's uh it's gratifying. But the day I start encouraging people to super chat or start structuring things so that super chats, I mean, look, obviously when people super chat, I make a point of saying thank you very much and all that kind of stuff, right? But the idea that I would structure the content, for example, based on who has a big super chat, to me seems like one of those awful clubs with the rope. You know, fuck that noise. Who wants to go to one of those clubs? Like, okay, oh, it's one of those awful clubs with a rope that only very special people get to get past the rope right away. Otherwise, okay, you two, you come on in. Now the rest of you wait here at the rope for a while. It's important you wait here because that's making it look super exclusive. So we appreciate the role you play in this. What is the role you play? The role you play. Um, the role you play is to make our keeping you out look good. You know? Well, I don't like that aspect of things in life in general. I don't want to do type police really. Why can't we pay for someone else's super chat too? Mix things up and level the field. You mean you want a button that says super chat the next thing Angantir says? Like that or what? Hey, Jose, can you add something to the title of this video to say that you're currently live streaming? I mean, it says that already. It doesn't say like red dot next to it or something? I don't know. Sure. What should I add? Should I add the word live streaming to it? Or perhaps live AF. Live AF. Live AF. Oh, that is live AF. Oh, that is live AF. That's super live AF. There's 2 more rounds tomorrow, 2 more preliminary rounds. My kid's 3-1 right now. He won 3 rounds, lost 1 round. If he wins both the first 2 rounds tomorrow, he'll advance for sure. And pretty much he probably has to win both of them to advance 5-1 because it's a smallish field. It's like 22 kids in it, so they'll probably only break 4. He'll probably have to go 5-1. They might break 6 or 8 if it's depending on what the numbers look like. But they might break 8. I guess if they were to break 8, then they have 3 elim rounds. If they were to break 8, he got a good chance of. I mean, he'd certainly make it at 5-1. He might make it at 4-1. All right, so I'm adding in all big letters, not little letters, but big ones. I'm going to add live AF. Exclamation point. And oh yeah, this is live AF. So yes, my student did debate today, and he was not threatened instead. And okay, well, yeah. Before it was live, Bacon. I agree. It was already live. But now it's live AF. So that's liver. It was only sort of alive before. It was kind of dead. Half live, half dead. When you go into YouTube search bar under filter, you can check live and find live streams of everything from apricots to Zulu warriors who are live streaming. I see. Which am I, an apricot or a Zulu warrior? Perhaps I'm a Zulu warrior with an apricot and an impaled horse. Really, I would like to tell a story. Really, I would like to make a game. Really, I would like to get all hoary. Really, I would like to say my name, say my name. Any thoughts on the eighth function you'd want to say about? Yeah. I do want to say something about that. Eighth law function. Eighth law. Well, I would say this, that extrovert sensing is very much a mysterious willowy winnowy minnow in a pool as deep as the darkest oceans of the world. And I suspect that has to do with eighth slot. Now, it's true that it's SE, so it doesn't really. She's coming on 18. I'm cheesing and you're pleasing me with your cheesing wheeze. Yeah, I'm sure everything's gonna be fine with that. Winston's mom. There's been a lot of indications of slabbery in the works. Rachel pulled a fortune today about our perfect relationship, basically, that further confirmed his perfection. I've been getting a lot of signals that there's some grand undertaking afoot, but I don't think it's time yet for it to start. It's like we're almost there. I feel myself getting prepped by the universe for things. This, to be able to genuinely move forward in the world based on certainty of your own goodness, basically, plus comfort level with your own discretion, without having too much faith in it. And you can kind of relax a bit and not stress out. It's something I needed to be able to attain. Like, for example, if I'm going to be doing whatever I'm going to be doing in life, one of my skill sets that is sort of something good, or at least significant, I guess I should say. I don't know. Good and bad I don't have that kind of instincts about things. I have portentousness. I have a bad feeling or a good feeling. I have a feeling of portentousness, significance, but without any of that normative stuff attached to it, really. My type, Anchor Jason Blood, is what's called an ENTP. And we're sometimes known as the very best type. And, I guess sometimes called the hero type or the talk type. Boy, you should have heard my kid in the car on the way. I know, Anchor Jason Blood. I was fooling you. I was jossing you. I was risibly ribbing you with a little bit of like that is what I was doing, for the purpose of bonding and good humor. didn't you get typed? Get typed by whom? So anyway, do you feel like you have an NI test in progress now, telling a story with an obvious determinant factor and asking them to identify it? Yes, I do. What was eye-opening is the potential for legal matters to provide insight. I do have a lot going on, and the channel is. I mean, it is. The weird thing is, I don't know by what metric somebody judges channel success. Right now, in my mind, the channel is thriving, almost booming, because I'm comparing against more recent incarnations of it, but most of all, I'm comparing against earlier incarnations of me. I'm like I'm mostly past my growing pains with YouTube, you know? Neither of those things. It doesn't have adverse effects. Okay, you said abilities, yeah. It could have adverse effect on cognitive abilities. I think it has some. I'm not really. It doesn't really adversely affect my cognitive abilities at all. What's interesting has been watching my ENP kid have the same exact SI as me. It has nothing to do with age. The fact that what did I say 5 seconds ago? That's not age. That's ENTP. Extroverted intuition and marijuana. Look, marijuana. First of all, it is certainly reasonable to think that doing a given drug might make one pay attention more in one way or in some other way. But I think a more accurate representation of it would be that a drug would modify the way paying attention in a certain channel manifested. So it's more likely that drugs would, instead of making me use FE more than SE, for example, if I'm an SE Dom, I'd still be the same sort of attentional habits, but my SE would look a little weird. So, for example, if I'm drunk and I'm dancing, I'm not. That doesn't mean all of a sudden, like let's say I'm drunk and I'm dancing kind of floppily. That doesn't mean I've shifted over to a different activity, like, oh, he's not dancing anymore. Now he's flopping. Instead, it means the drug has impacted the way I dance, so I dance a little differently now. Same thing with cognitive functions, it seems. It would be much more likely to not impact at all the sort of native mechanics of the functions, but would instead just impact how they display or how they manifest, as I indicated there. You know what? Stephen Ray's got a point. I don't know if anybody's ever thought of this before, but he's right. There's one thing we could do, and it could be a quick buck. I mean, I'm not sure if maybe not, but I hear there's a lot of people who like to buy drugs. And I've also noted that there are no stores that make it easy for them to buy all the drugs they want to buy. So what I was thinking is maybe we get Archangel and Ethan McDonald, Stephen Rain, and Winston's mom, and we get them, bring them all over here, and we stand them on a street corner with a sign that says, "We have drugs for sale, no prescription required." And then another one has a sign up that says, "Special bonus, no taxes!" Exclamation point. That works well. Dancing is not a cognitive function I do well. Instead, cognition is my favorite dance. It's like a Jesse Jackson thing, right? We put in scare quotes, "Get you high" drugs for sale. Don't worry, all of these drugs do get you high. None of them are pointless. We've got your intoxication 1 drug. We've got your intoxication 2 drug. And intoxication 3. don't want to get back into that habit. Oh, hanging here. I feel you, dog. I feel you. Yeah. If you're within a month or two, maybe even a little longer of an extended thwackage period, then your problems can be summed up as you need to sleep and repair the rawness of your heart. It has been damaged by too little sleeps, too little foods, pushing too hard, and just generally being a thwacker. Okay, well, 6 months is okay. So you're at sort of turning point time. Like now I need to have directionality, and I was all like, okay, cool, and then now I'm like, what is all this shit? Huh? I got you, hanging too. I got you. Kids shouldn't do drugs, and more importantly, drugs shouldn't do kids. Can you fix your polar if you take the right drug? Oh, a good an EHP or ESP take MDMA? No, because you can't fix your polar because your polar is not a problem. It's a persistent not directing resources towards it. Like you might with MDMA, presumably. I mean, let's say that I'm wrong about my notion that it's more likely to impact how a cognitive function manifests than it is to impact how you manifest cognitive functions. Let's say I'm wrong about that. And as a consequence, that MDMA, it turns out, does compel one's attention down the channel of moisture. So then one is behaving very atypically during the time that one is on it. And certainly it's the case that one is feeling very atypically when one is on it. But it's not a problem. So there's nothing to fix. Your polar is the natural consequence of your prioritizing what you prioritize. Because you prioritize everything, necessarily, you have a polar. If you wanted to fix your polar, that would mean changing yourself by saying, okay, well, I guess I really don't want that much. I guess I'm just going to get rid of TE now. I'm not going to be an INTJ anymore. I'm going to be an INFJ. I'm going to get rid of TE and replace it with FE. If there were a drug that somehow would do that, actually change your cognitive functions stack, then you'd have some sort of huge transformative moment, and your interface and your tool and your polar would switch, and you'd probably sort of like wake up from the thing and be like a newborn baby's worth of FE, but the right instincts this time or something. I don't know. That's why it's a better question to say, like, okay, I like the way that you're talking about the INTJ, because it shows different framings of it. Like when you go, I just know it enhances my FI due to the serotonin release. I mean, what I would say that is that you're attending to your introverted feeling more because it's better or worse than what you're accustomed to. Are the slot mechanics all explained out logically or just observations? I mean, I haven't done the work of explaining it all out. Like, if you're saying, why would it be the case that the first slot function is always served by the eighth slot function? There's a argumentational explanation for all of that, but those are all definitional arguments. In other words, the core engine of the mechanics argument is like, here's the totality of stuff, and here's how you can imagine the totality of stuff being examples of meow, meow, or meow, like for example, action, knowledge, whatever. So there's a finite number of permutations and a finite number of resources to direct towards something. How do I think SI comes out of Rachel? Well, she tries to remember when to eat. We're both kind of attentive to that. I mean, I know. Here's how SI, when she doesn't take care of her SI, in other words, when she allows her lack of natural attention to SI to let to cause her to ignore it too much, then she starts going into a state. When you meditate, you turn into NTJ. I see. Okay, well, I think what you mean there, Cloud, is that when you're meditating, your tool function of introverted feeling says, I like the significant feeling of this. And I bet that's what NTJs feel like. And I would like to be an NTJ. I'd like that to be the case, at least. That I'd have the feeling of an NTJ at least for a moment. So I know it's within my possible range of self. And I really would like that to be the case. Therefore, that's my story. Today's episode, The Lost Anus Drugs. The mystery of the lost anus drugs. Yeah, I mean, definitely trying to metacognate about NI and TE and stuff is a good idea. And not the same thing as turning into something else. Okay, no more self-hating comments. Here, no more with the fat sack. Unless you're talking about your scrot. Unwashed teeth, fine. You can always wash. Scrubby hair, fine. Dirty clothes. Those things are temporary, not specific to you. Did some Saturn Uranus? I was plumping all the Pisces in my 7th house when I saw a bunch of cups and wands and stuff. I had OCD too back in high school. I got too stressed because from nowhere I became emotional. My mind started playing songs in my head and I could not stop it. Listen to me, Anchor Jason Blood. That's just the rhythm of your soul. Nothing wrong with that. You can't stop rocking. You can't stop jacking. You can't stop dancing. You can't stop prancing. Nothing wrong with that. Did someone play Saturn on your butthole tonight? I think I saw some rings of magnificent hue. Everything right now has a magnificent hue of tired. I'm so tired. Meditation is consciousness boost, and it depends on your type, what functions you focus on. We should meditate on that, Cloud. You meditate on that koan. No, I'm just, it's like because of the way I schedule, this shit worked out like, um, I slept in super late yesterday and then got up and took my pills and then basically got almost no sleep last night. I got like 2 hours or something because I was so, it was so off schedule. I can imagine meditation, like if we're going to talk about what meditation is, as honestly as we can, um, I would say that it has the potential to smooth out your day, maybe make you more productive a little bit there after the meditation. But I never, when I think about meditation, I never think of it as having any impact in the process of doing it. I always think of it as having impact after the fact. That I'm sort of like, I think of it as SI exercise, I guess. What's the title about? I don't know. I was right sitting there, synchronicity and meow, and I was trying to come up with a title for it. Synchronicity is a cruel lover. I don't know what the fuck. Who cares? There you go. There's no cruel lover from synchronicity for me at the moment. It's just a title. It's a magical title, possibly. Could be. You could say that, but I don't think so. I think it's just a poetic turn of phrase. I also think I put lover, didn't I, instead of mistress? I like cruel lover better than mistress. I would assume it doesn't have a period at the end of it, so it's ... It could be conditional. Unless, let's finish that sentence. Synchronicity is a cruel lover. Unless, I mean, maybe this is the spiritual insight right here. That's the core question one must ask. Is it always a cruel lover, that synchronicity? No. So what makes it a cruel lover? Is there anyone who's exempted from her cruelty as a lover? I'm not sure. No, I hate that song though. It's like that's one of the Police's worst songs. Every Breath You Take, it was like their biggest hit, right? But it was also like not a good song. Ooh, Anchor, Jason Blood. Can I have a castle in my mind too? Right now, I don't have any castles. I also type as ISTP or INTP, but I'm extremely impulsive. Is that FI? No, impulsive and FI are not the same thing at all. I would not call FI impulsive at all, actually. FI for me might seem like it drives me to impulsivity, but FI in and of itself, the attending properly through your attachments is more or less non-impulsive because FI is at least partially about understanding how precious something is to you. And when you are holding something precious, it means you're taking precautions, not being impulsive about it. And sometimes if you've got bad FI like me, one could conceive of a situation where my FI is activated, and so I go looking for something suspicious where I already know there's not, and I'm just being crazy. That would be FI. I'm unreasonably stubborn for no reason, and can neither explain it, and nor am I going to mention anything about it later after I'm normal again. That's FI. if you're crying up a fuss 1 minute, you disappear for a few minutes, and then later you come back as though nothing had happened, You're probably an FI user. If you get upset when your friend is criticizing the dictator for genocide because it's not nice to the dictator, you just might be an FI user. Anchor Jason Blood, I tell you, she was an enigma wrapped inside of an FI user or something like that. But she's definitely anti-polar. And now that I've asked her some questions and we worked the vector pretty well, she's definitely anti-polar. You can see it in the wrongness when she's wrong about the singular determinant. Meow meow. Yes, we're talking about Countess Jake Hurwitz. Oh, yeah. Would you like to dance with me with all the colors of the wind? Would you like to dance with me with all the colors of the wind? ESFPs aren't crazy. You crazy. Let's see. That link stayed there. I'm going to have to push it with my finger. Ooh, I'm pushing it with my finger. Ooh, I pushed it. Wait a minute. Host Derek. Open, is that you? It's me. Open. Yeah, I know. I'm blind. I know. You told me many times. And an orphan. You always tell me that. Is she upset at the green thing, or that she has a flea? What did that green thing do to you? What are you upset about it at it for? I like this video. She doesn't know what she wants to do right now. She's like, I don't know what I want to do. I want to eat this green thing. I think I'm going to eat the green thing. Here. How much you say these things sleep a day? Winston's mom? A lot of things. Chat typing. I'll check out her channel later. I'll check it out. I like FI Third. FI Third likes me. Or it's never there. You know, it's like if FI Third doesn't like you, you just don't even know about the person. They're busy liking somebody someplace. It's like, you know, Cameron's great. He's a wonderful friend. Like my most commonly accessed real life friend for sure. And you know, a good match as a friend. We've got a lot of complimentary kind of things, and but I'm quite sure that I think that when you're dealing with somebody FI Third, then you serve at their discretion. There's a better word for that. There's a word they usually use for when I talk about like cabinet members serving at the president's meow. But Can't remember the word. Oh, Anchor Jason Blood. Are you playing Bark Up Tree? Are you sure it's the right tree? You might. A pleasure. Yeah. There you go. It's pleasure and pleasure. That's the word they usually use. Thank you, Winston's mom. Just like that. I don't even remember what the analogy was about. Right. Yeah, serve at the FI third's pleasure. It's like, or they it's more like the other way around, right? They serve at their pleasure, but they don't serve. It's just sort of like, wow, these people, this person's nice to me, and I like them a lot. And hey, thank you. That's very kind of you. I find myself saying that to Cameron a lot. I don't get him little presents and shit, but it's great. I love it. He brought those guns over. If he sees something he thinks I'm going to like to play with, he'll bring it over for me, like those little gold guns for Mindy and her gang. Those are funny. Do you have any idea of the people in this president's administration? I'm fascinated that supporters do not know who these people are that he's chosen or had chosen for the administration. I mean, well, he's cycled through so many of them. If I like you, you're good. If I don't like you, then you don't exist. There you go. Whereas it doesn't matter really to me. It's sort of like with first line of P. If you like me, you're good. If you don't like me, then there's probably a reason for that. Probably you got in trouble in some way. Or you may just not like me at all. It's fine. But if you dislike me, then chances are you've run afoul of goodness, truth, justice, and specialness. FI third does seem to get satisfaction at doing random acts of kindness. Right. Whereas if I see a friend about to make the horrible mistake of tipping while the coffee girl's back is turned, I'll reach out and go, no, you wait until she can see it. This is wasted tip. Having FI tool cloud, it's like your job is to skewer oysters onto a skewer, but the skewer is made out of tofu. So you can never really get anything on there without breaking the skewer. Best analogy for FI, I think. Hey guys, how's everyone's morning going? Why look, friends, it's Morridge, our very polite ISFJ community member who's got a soothing blue circle for the thing that's to the left of him. I'm doing fine. I won't speak for everybody. I'm tired. I'll say that I am tired. It's like if I have to spend any more years breaking rocks in the gulag, I'm really going to be tired. What analogy wasn't at all understandable? My analogy about something? About morning and night. Morridge, you've got to help. I'm so glad you're here. Bacon and Engen's here. I'm getting into trouble with IAG last. Archangel, of course, they're throwing gasoline on the fire. And naturally, what I said is, oh my God, where is Morridge? What we need to do is pour a bunch of porridge on them. And Morridge always has plenty of porridge with him. Last time I talked to Morridge, he had 6 or 7 gallons of porridge with him. I don't know what happened to all that porridge. Don't make me analogize you. What does who need an analogy for? My FI is my inner child. I guess that's my FE. My FE is my inner child. My FI is my outer child. And my TE is my inside outer child. Was Georgie Porgy pudding and pie? Did Georgie kiss the girl to make them cry? I don't know if Georgie did that or not. I would say that Georgie Porgy pudding and pie. Does that necessarily poke you in the eye? I don't know. Hard to say. Liz Boss, what's up with the title? I don't know. Synchronicity is a cruel lover. It just seemed like a saucy title. Nope, not new. I just have it more closer to me so you can see it. I'm about to go to sleep with my eyes open. It's so tiring. But what I'm going to do, oh no, you guys, did you hear the bad news? Steven has porridge fly. I'm sorry you have porridge fly, Steven. But that does mean we're going to have to quarantine you. Get into the fly pit. Go on, climb on down in there. You've had porridge fly now. Porridge fly is a very, very contagious disease. I'm going to block you now. You are annoying me. Jesus, I never thought I'd see the day. Mattias, Angantier, Anchor, Winston's mom, IG last Steve Rain. Sweet, delightful, loving, nurturing Countess has blocked somebody. What? What? Yeah, I know. I am so proud of her. I never would have thought she had any fight in her. She was always so demure, so differential. But finally, Countess said, you know what? Today's the day. I am going to block somebody. They've crossed all the lines. I'm just going to block them. Countess, you sassy, fierce. Eric, I just got a video idea. Please do personality types that you would want for your cabinet folks in a parallel universe where you're the POTUS. Not a bad idea. Not bad at all. I would like them all to be... I mean, the thing is, I want them all to be... I don't know. It's a tough question. I want them all to be the right person. I would have to factor in their personality type, though, to make that determination, which is why I stopped that line of reasoning before I even got underway. Now is the time to stand up. No, I think that's pretty consistent with INTP, really. Remember that extroverted intuition is your tool function. So, I don't want to sit around and listen to INTP TI at all because it's just going deeper into the nodes than it needs to go. It's like INTPs want to understand nodes beyond the extent to which the understanding is relevant to understanding between nodes. Right now, in particular, there's another issue, which is I am absolutely exhausted, and my innie is pretty tepid, I guess. I will say this: there's an advantage of being an extroverted intuition dom over a TI dom, which is, and I would say if you care or prioritize about the extroverted field, that really flashy TI is not very inviting or inclusive, and really flashy NE, if it's done right, can, or at least ideally should be. Right now, I'm a long way from flashy. I am a short way from splashy. I'm gonna go smoke this cigarette. I'm gonna come back over here. I'm gonna fold down this bed here. I'm going to pull another bowl want to lie here, and I may then at that point in the stream where I may just fall asleep and end it when I wake up a little bit later, but probably just end it right then. In the meantime, though, chat amongst yourselves. Hey, Cloud, I told you before, I want you to refer to that as hate making love. Okay? Just hate make love. That's that. What you did there, that's rude. But what I'm talking about is understandable. I think that this phenomenon here is very revealing about just how much we are our type, even when it makes no sense. I'm absolutely exhausted, as I've mentioned many times here. So much so that I'm like slurring my words and just not really being a very, very good talker, I guess. But the thing is, I'm such an extroverted intuiter, an extroverted feeler, that when I'm super, super exhausted, I don't think, oh, it's too tiring to do that. I might eventually be too tired to do that, but that doesn't seem tiring, you know? The other types of people, obviously, if they were tired and kind of like maybe a little grumpy, they wouldn't want to talk. They want to be silent. Probably want to sulk silently. It makes more sense. But see, those kind of NI connections are often very right for some types and very wrong for other types, and they kind of imprint on the culture of the general rule. I'm sorry, Fish. Have I not fed you at all today? I fed you this morning. It's been a long time since you ate, huh? You're like all swimming over here to the side. You know what's coming. You know what's coming. Little sprinkles, huh? Little sprinkles of fish food. Well, how it's food sprinkle time. Food sprinkle time. Come and chew your food, cause it's food sprinkle time. Sprinkle, 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 sprinkle the food. Food sprinkle time, and it's tasting so good. You guys enjoying food sprinkle time? Okay, so I'm gonna lie down on this bed now. I'm gonna sing you guys to sleep. It'll be counterintuitive because obviously I'm the one lying down. So why would I be singing you to sleep? You see, that's where the irony lies. If you're like me, you enjoy the richest and creamiest irony you can find. Forever is a mighty long time. Well said, KJ. Well said. It's longer than almost forever. It's a lot longer than seemed to zip by in the blink of an eye. And Gintier, I don't think we're going to be able to have that conversation tonight. If we were to have it, you'd get me at 10%. It wouldn't be worth having it. I will have it with you tomorrow or something like that when we get a chance. Yeah, ENTPs are not assholes. Even when they are being bad ENTPs. Bacon. Don't rake cloud over the coals. This cloud is called raking over the coals via taunting. I mean, Ethan, that sentence makes no sense to me, Ethan. It really doesn't. To me, the sentence would be like, he can't. He could be an ESFP. That you should change the first part, get rid of the NT or apostrophe T. Is ignoring evidence an SI thing? Well, no, it's prioritizing a certain kind of evidence. The classic instance of this is the dog in Laverne. Let me pull this bowl and I'll tell you the story. So our chicken Red got attacked by a dog in Laverne. It pushed through a broken board in the fence. The neighbors had just gotten it. There was no way to anticipate it. And the dog bit Red and hurt her, but she survived and lived on and had happy times for quite a while afterwards until she died of an unrelated matter. Of course, she had to die before I left. She died right when that relationship ended. Of course, she did. She got eggbound and died. Everything Kimberly and I touched together died. So the dog thing. After the dog had gotten Red, Kimberly hadn't been there to observe the actual whole event. I was in the garage. I heard a big commotion in the backyard, and I heard squawk, squawk, squawk. Cluck, cluck, cluck. I ran back there, opened the gate, ran back there, and saw the dog having Red and shoot him away, and he ran off back through the broken board he'd gotten in through, which is how I knew exactly how he'd gotten in. and what had happened, right? Note that both the gates in the backyard were closed and latched, such that the dog couldn't have gotten in there anyway except through the broken board in the fence. Now, Kimberly had a number of reactions to this. One was to insist that the chickens were at risk from dogs from who walk down the driveway from the street and go into the backyard and get them, and that I really need to make sure the gate's closed. Of course, that's not any kind of conclusion to draw from what happened there, right? So you might say she's ignoring evidence. Really, she's overweighting her experience. In her experience, a dog hurt her beloved chicken. I mean, Kimberly deserves some kind of medal for the way that she nursed that chicken back to health, carrying it around to various places during the day when it couldn't move for like a full month almost, sleeping it inside with us and just babying the shit out of it until it actually fully recovered from what I don't think anybody would have reasonably thought it was going to live through. And it's like things like that when I think about Kimberly that they just make me respect her ultimately. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I tell like it is. She was a difficult partner. She took out a lot of damage on me, but she's a good person and she's not a spite monkey. And she's I think it's just one of those things where because the nature of her ontological development or whatever, the closer she got to me anyway, the more adversarial she got to me. The more familiar she got with me, the more adversarial she got. And I'm not exactly sure why that is, but it does not seem in retrospect, nor did it at the time seem to be consistent with how she treated anybody else. There's a point of contention that I have with her on multiple occasions. But you don't treat anybody else like this, I know she's taking her damage on you. Well, I mean, you can call it whatever you want. All I know is that I was trying to have a healthy relationship and doing things right consistently. And she was doing a lot of toxic shit that did a lot of harm to me. I mean, or at least that would have done a lot of harm to me if I weren't like uniquely and specially protected against that kind of harm. So, I mean, the thing is, it is the truth that Kimberly and I were incompatible and weren't meant to be together and all that kind of stuff, and it was just a bad match. And it's also the truth that Kimberly behaved in a lot of toxic ways that caused me to gradually, start to get to a point where my anger and frustration at the unfairness and the personal attacks and the ongoing dismissal and negation and just the whole 9 yards, that my that all that stuff started to accumulate, and I was getting to a point where I wasn't going to be able to do this much longer, like this thing that I was doing the whole time, which is I always walked the line of righteousness so that I could both say to her, now see, look, this is what I did when you did meow. And this is what you did when I did meow. See how very different they are. Isn't it nice that I said this sort of stuff instead of like what you say here? But she just saw that as another attack. I was just trying to extinguish the toxic behavior and provide a demonstration of how healthy relationships look, But at the end of the day, that's why I'm saying she took out her damage on me. It's not like I mean, it's hard to explain exactly what happens in a relationship like that when you're dealing with somebody who's, you might loosely call BPD. they see power exchange as off limits. So for people who have a healthy attachment style, it's like, let's say we're talking and I I say something like, I make a mistake of carelessness. Say something that seems like maybe I don't respect you or whatever, but it's a little unclear, and um it's not very it's not super like harsh or whatever, but it's kind of, you don't like it. Now, you might return the favor and be like, "Oh yeah, well, blah, blah, blah." Let's say the first guy goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm totally sorry. I didn't mean many, many, yeah. I meant many, many like this." And yeah, I totally get why you would have perceived it that way. That's totally my fault. Miscommunication there. Now, a healthy person, number two, reciprocates that. For an unhealthy person, as soon as there's any intimation that the first person might be an enemy, they never really let that go. And I suspect that has to do with sort of being cruelly tricked in various fashions. Uh, and it's sad and awful. And it's extraordinarily different than somebody who has a healthy attachment style. Whatever else Rachel has going on or is dealt with or whatever, she has a healthy attachment style. And that's the number one, like, that's the number one bare minimum requirement. Number two bare minimum requirement is able to be accountable. And so she's got both of those, and that means it's fundamentally she's healthy. If you're missing one of those, then you're not healthy. Guy, are you asking someone to play with your NI pole? I didn't know you had an NI pole. Do all NI users get a pole? Yeah, exactly, Ethan. What Bacon says. What Bacon says. I used to get too attached to people until I realized how self-absorbed many people are. Well, to some extent, everybody's self-absorbed. The key thing is, we talk about people in that general kind of sense plenty, but I think a lot of times we're making a mistake in that we're failing to distinguish between people who deserve to be condemned much more than that and people who really don't deserve to be condemned at all. You know, it's like, to me, the universe breaks down into those two groups. All the normal, nice people who deserve to be afforded as much mistake tolerance as possible, and towards whom, as a general rule, forgiveness ought to be prioritized and over, say, strict enforcement of something or whatever, and all that stuff. That's for normal people. It's for almost everybody. But I have a whole different opposite approach towards accountability avoidant people. People have accountability avoidance syndrome, then there needs to be an actual cutting off of all avenues. You know, it's like, the problem that you have in dealing with these people is both argumentational and situational. what they want more than anything else, as far as I can tell, is to dominate the relationship and uh, and be the authoritarian, controlling figure in every aspect of it. So it's like one quality that manifests in all of these parties, or at least I haven't actually talked to Anthony yet, but certainly in Neculoins and Space Shmori, Shmori from space. Uh, anyway, it's those two is there's an active refusal to learn from anybody because that means deference. Deference means you're not the controlling authoritarian anymore. It's an absolute refusal to be vulnerable and trust yourself on the mercy of another. Like I learned in childhood, pretty in no uncertain terms, that uh, when I fucked up or something bad was happening or whatever, I should just go and when it's sort of like my secrets I was keeping started building up, I should just go and spill my guts to my parents, and then we could all just talk it out, and it'd be a fair conclusion to the thing. And that was always how it played out to this day. So when I see people, there's these families who communicate so horribly, or when I see the way that language is abused, like when Nikki Loyens talked about that fight between me and Kimberly, I honestly don't even remember, but I'm just sort of giving her the benefit of the doubt that something like that did happen. I guess I don't remember, but there's a lot to be learned from my relationship with Kimberly. And there's a lot of different possible ways to frame it as well. But the thing is this. Some frames are true and some are false. So when Oloyne's positioned that as being about me needing help and me being a danger in some regard, it's almost like the most wicked kind of rhetoric you can imagine. You take the guy who definitely was the victim in that relationship, whom Becky knows was the victim in that relationship, who was goaded into rage purposefully again and again by an expert goader as he was trying to scramble to adjust to this continual minefield of ontological assaults that was this relationship, trying to figure out what's going on, trying to deal with all this shit, and getting treated toxically, getting abused by Kimberly. I'm not saying I just stood there and took it. Obviously, there was a lot of fights. That's why there was screaming and yelling. She was goading me and abusing me and all kinds of shit. It was, no matter whether, I'm not trying to blame her. I'm not saying condemn her at all. I'm saying any other representation of what was going on there is bullshit. I was doing my absolute best to not cross lines, to always say, Kimberly, remember, we don't talk to each other like that. And I was not going to go down to her level. I was not going to sink down there and start doing what she was doing. Occasionally I did. It's like when I started, it's like, I'd never been so angry at somebody before. But there's an actual conclusion to be taken from all of this. It certainly isn't the conclusion she drew from it. That's the thing. Well, no, it is that word. It is that word because I'm explaining something and it's relevant. Um, that's not an acceptable. That's wicked rhetoric to take something that probably is factual and try to spin it as the exact opposite thing of what it is for the sole purpose of poisoning others against somebody is really wicked. Like, she knows full well I'm not a volatile, dangerous person. She knows full well that I was the victim of that thing. It's like that's what it looks like when you've got wickedness. And so it's important for us to distinguish between people who are decent people and wicked people. And the wicked people, the only thing you can do to help a person with accountability avoidant disorder is to, force via circumstance or surprise or whatever, force them to be accountable as much as you can, force them to be as publicly accountable as you can, because you really need to shine as much light on them as possible and their bad behavior, and compel them, put them in situations where they have no choice, where they're either going to have to behave so badly it works against them, or break and agree to work with you and defer. That's the only way to deal with these people. Of course, I don't want to deal with them if I can avoid it, because they're unpleasant and everything. But obviously, I have to. I had 39 thumbs down on an earlier video, which is great. I had like 12 thumbs down on the last one or something. And I was afraid I was losing them for a little while. The thumbs down started to dwindle. Now I feel like, okay, cool. There's a lot of thumbs there. Wow, look at all those thumbs, I think to myself. Yeah. So, for a hot second, I was just like, no, not a thumbs down. Ah. A lot of thumbs. I sound zooted. I'm tired as hell. That's the thing you got to remember. Anytime you think I sound like drugged or high or whatever, occasionally I'll be like super high, but it doesn't really make me sound what normally one would consider high. When I sound like this, I am just tired. I'm tired as fuck. And in fact, I really need to go to bed because it's 11. Not too late. I got to get up early tomorrow again too, but I still got. I'll be able to get like 7 or 8 hours of sleep. It's fine. Oh, that's right. I was gonna sing you guys to sleep. I forgot. I've been enjoying singing Misty lately, a cappella or whatever, walking around. It's such a good song. Walk my way, and 1,000 violins begin to play. Or it might be the sound of your hello, the music I hear. I get misty the moment you're near. on my own. Would I wander through this wonderland alone? Never knowing my right foot from my left, my hat from my glove. I'm too misty and too much in love. You can say that you're leading me on, but it's just what I want you to do. You can tell how you're hopelessly honest. That's why I'm following you. Man. What's the other verse? It goes, walk my way, and 1,000 violins begin to play. Or it might be the sound of your hello, the music I hear. I get misty the moment you're near. Misty the moment you're Thank you, thank you. A wonderful. That's a wonderful song was brought to us by uh, Billy Strayhorn, I think, was the writer of that. Good old Billy Strayhorn. It's a hell of a song, I'll tell you. Really well written like a writer's song. Here's another good old song for you. I used to visit all the very gay places where one can trace aces, and you can see where they've been swept away by too many through the day. 12 o'clock till the friends I knew had sad and solemn gray faces, those distant gay traces. To get the feel of life from jazz and cocktails. Then you came along with your siren song to tempt me to madness. I thought for a while that your poignant smile was hinged with the gladness of a great love for me. Oh yeah, I was wrong again. I was wrong. Bonum, bonum, bonum. Life is a full again. A trough full of hearts could only be unsure. A week in Paris will ease the sight of it. All I care is to smile in spite of it. I'll forget you, I will, while yet you are still burning inside my brain. Romance is mush, stifling those who strive. I live a lush life in some small dive, and there I'll be while I rot with the rest of those whose lives are lonely too. Fucking jazz. What a funny genre of music. Sitting in a park in Paris, France, reading the news, and it sure looks bad. They won't give peace a chance. That was just a dream some of us had. Still a lot of lines to see, and I wouldn't want to stay here. It's too old and cold and settled in its ways here. Oh, but California, California, I'm coming home. I'm going to see the folks I dig. I'll even kiss the sunset pig. California, I'm coming home. Well, I met a redneck on a Grecian Isle. He did the goat dance very well. He gave me back my smile, but he kept my camera in a cell. Oh, the rogue, the red rogue. He could all let in there. I might have stayed on there, but heart cried out for you, California. That song is way beyond my ability to sing right now. I got asthma. I got losing voice. I got sleep face. I got excessive miasma on the left side of my body. And a bunch of cotton in my clothes. I'm tired. I have to go to bed now. It's time for Eric to go to sleep. Big sleeps for tonight, Eric. Oh my gosh. Am I going to have big sleeps? Big sleeps for tonight, Eric. You're going to have the biggest sleeps ever, little Eric. Ooh, I'm excited. I'm going to sleep with my eyes, my sleepings. It's going to be just like that time when I was awake, except I'll be totally asleep. Who's ready to go to sleep with me? Who wants to get cozy? I'm cozy. Well, I'm not full cozy yet, though. I need to cozy 5 out of 10%. How do I do that? Under the covers. A little something I call under the covers instead of on top of them. Okay. I will certainly end your stream, human being. That's for sure. You know why? Because I don't like you. How's that? Is that a good reason? Some F5 for you. Yeah. It feels good to time out, human being. You know why? What? I'm waiting, Mrs. Mom. I'm waiting. What am I waiting for? Oh. Oh, is that why? Oh, sorry, human being. I misinterpreted that entirely. That's what I did. I misinterpreted it entirely, huh? Sorry about that. My bad, HB. My bad. Okay, I wasn't paying that much attention. I was almost asleep. See, like, what is that? What is that? I timed out, human being. I shouldn't have, but I did. It's like I mean, I kind of want to. I kind of want to. Um, I thought human being was just being like, in the stream, old man. I don't like you. In your goddamn stupid stream. I thought that's what human being was saying. I was like, well, I don't like you either. Then if you don't want me to be streaming, yeah, maybe I am half asleep, but yeah, it's like you know. Anyway, I am going to. Who? Countess? He wasn't even. Yeah, I'm going to end this stream, I think. Good night, everybody. I gotta go to sleep. I'll stream again soon. Believe me, I'm totally addicted to streaming. So obviously, you'll see me again shortly. And tomorrow I have tournament in the morning, but I might have it all day. Depends on how well he does. I have to end now, Cloud. I'm sorry. I'll miss you too. It's any consolation. I'll miss you in my sleep.